Hugh Hefner, a true American icon, created an empire that was unrivaled.
Although some of us bunnies may have gone rogue, it's because of the love and respect that we received from the man behind it all.
Because after all, we did learn from the best.
Relive the stories from the most prominent celebrity home in history.
What happens in the grotto stays in the grotto.
From those of us that lived it,
The employees that worked it,
And the guests who loved it.
And
the mayhem continues.
Here we are once again, Rogue Bunnies Mayhem. I'm excited with our guest, who is going to be introduced by Victoria Fuller. Victoria, who do we have today?
Yeah, I'm so excited. Amanda and I, it's Amanda Rome West, first of all, but her and I have been talking for months and months now. I've been on her podcast, and she is part of the newest version of, she's a creator on the new Playboy platform. She's got so much interesting stuff going on. I can't wait to start talking to her. So Amanda, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. How are you guys doing, Brian and Victoria? Woo! No, I have my coffee. I'm ready.
You got your bunny ears?
Oh, I got my bunny ears. I got my bunny ears for my bunny costume. I had to get them out from under my bed, this morning in Malibu. And it's just beautiful out here. I feel so blessed to be interviewing with you guys on the Rogue Bunnies, which is one of my favorite podcasts to listen to myself. And yeah, for real. And it's great intro from you. I met Victoria, obviously, doing my podcast, ARW Raw, which you can stream on Spotify and Apple. We just wrapped up 3 amazing seasons, and I figured what better time to come on here and speak about my experience with Playboy. As you can see, I'm a huge Playboy fan since day one. I've always watched Girls Next Door. I've always just been a huge fan of the magazine, especially Pamela Anderson, Anna Nicole, so many beautiful, incredible women. And when my really close friend said, hey, Playboy's looking for their new generation of bunnies and Playboy creators, I said, wow, that's incredible. So look at me. I just went online, I applied, and they reached back out. They said, how do you like to be an official bunny? And I said, I'd love it. And this was in 2022. So for 2 years now, I've been a creator with Playboy, and it's just been absolutely mind-blowing and so wonderful to have so many new friends and people I've just looked up to for so long be close with me and just be in my inner circle. It's really cool.
I have a question for you, because you're young 20s. And so you came into learning about Playboy, kind of later on in the Playboy story, I guess you would call it. What does Playboy mean to you, your generation?
Ooh, yeah.
I would say, obviously, it's very surreal talking to you guys right now because I watched Girls Next Door and what a time for Playboy in the 2000s. I'm 26 years old. I was born in 97. I'm a Scorpio, and I'm very
96. You weren't even born yet. Oh my God.
Oh my God. No, literally. And essentially, to distill my entire thoughts about Playboy, I just always looked up to you girls and everyone in Playboy, wow, that's so glamorous. That's so cool. It's a whole other lifestyle. And especially always wanting to live in California as someone from DC originally, I always watched Girls Next Door and always looked at all the Playboy stuff to be wow, that's California. That's so cool. So when I first came to California, when I was 17 to look at colleges, and then I got accepted to the University of Southern California for business entertainment, I was I have to go here. This is my calling. And I actually met so many people who have been in Playboy or who were current people who are affiliated with Playboy when I was at USC. And that really even cultured a even bigger, image of Playboy just being so iconic. So I guess withstanding the test of time type brand where you're just wow, this glamorous. It's very regal. It's very professional. That was just always my point of view on Playboy. Because there are so many people out there with so many different opinions, you have to wonder, what is everyone's different point of view? And for me, it was always looking at these women saying, wow, they're really presenting themselves so nicely. And Playboy is a great career move for any woman who really is a true artist, especially as myself. I am a full-time TV, film, and social media producer, as well as a Grammy considered artist. So it's very, very cool to be having Playboy as part of my story of my career and my brand.
But that kind of trips me out that and I'm glad you asked that, Victoria, is because, well, first I want to make the disclaimer. We are not affiliated with Playboy, right? We are not a Playboy show. We are Rogue Bunnies, but we were all part of the Playboy world. It's funny that you mentioned you were born in 1997 because I started at the mansion in 96. And then Victoria was Playmate January 1996. So we literally were there like 1 year before you were born. Well, you were in Mom.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Oh my God, that's absolutely
about.
insane to think about. And like, it's really surreal because you guys both have played such monumental roles in the world of Playboy, and like Playboy is forever, right? Once you're part of Playboy, you're part of that community. And I have to shout out one of my favorite YouTube channels. You may know her, Stacey Burke.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay. Like, so we're friends and we were chatting, and I was like, oh my God, like all of Brian's iconic scenes on the show. And she's like, Brian's the OG of the OGs. Like,
we had a lot of fun.
Her videos really, to me, they're very vlog style, right? They really represent to me just the OG YouTube culture, right? Because I'm a YouTuber as well, and she's like just so real with her experiences from the mansion. She always talks about you, Victoria, in her things, and talks about Brian, talks about all the incredible people. And like, I love people who just focus on the positives. You know, it's like, it's such a cool experience. It seemed like, I guess if I can ask you guys a question, was it crazy once Girls Next Door started shooting? Was that crazy to you guys to see your whole family and friends and all the fans around the world seeing you?
Victoria?
For me, because I was hanging out with Holly quite a bit, we were pretty close, and the girls, you know, we all became pretty close. And we would go, I mean, we went to like Raging Waters, and we went to a couple places, and we took a limousine, and we knew that the show was coming out because they had filmed. I was on the first episode or whatever. So we knew that it was coming out, and we saw a billboard with the Girls Next Door billboard on the side of the freeway, and we pulled over and we were like taking pictures. And I said to Kendra, I go, you know, you're about to be famous. She goes, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I said, no, I think you guys are in for a big surprise. I think you guys are going to be very famous. And they were just like, ooh, you know, it's like, and so slash cut forward to now, it's just really interesting to watch that process of someone going from an unknown to a total known, and how that changes people's lives. It was actually really interesting.
That's really crazy to hear, like, from your point of view, because I'm a huge fan of like Holly, Bridget, and Kendra, like everything that they did, like all of you girls who were on the show, everyone who worked at the mansion. Like, it's so crazy to hear that. And like, you see those photos reposted to Instagram all the time of them in front of the billboard. Are you the one who took those?
I don't know which picture you're referring to, but I certainly took several pictures of the girls in front of the billboard.
Probably the ones everyone posts. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's so surreal. And like, I remember you guys would go to Disneyland or Raging Waters. It's so funny because my fiance and I do all that. And I'm like, oh my God, they went. And just like so cool to like be that you guys have your own platforms and that you're all like speaking your voice and speaking your truth. And that's so real for now, because there's so many like fake people on the news, right? Or like these like figureheads, right, who just say things they're supposed to say, but you're really just saying your point of view about your experience at Playboy, which is very cool.
Yeah, well, it was very cool, definitely. And Brian, you know, Brian was such a figurehead there, just such an iconic person at the mansion, because I mean, he practically lived there. We talk about it all the time. He had no clue what was going on in the outside world. He didn't watch TV, he didn't listen to the news. And so when the mansion ended, it was almost like getting out of prison. You have no idea what's going on.
Amanda, you had asked like the experience for us. You know, I'm still kind of tripping because you were born in 97. So that means when the show came out for Girls Next Door, you were like 10. Okay. When we started recording that show, I think it was 2005, 2006. When you think about, we had to record at least a little bit over a year before the show got produced, put together, and the next thing you know, it's promoted and put out there. That's how any television show is, right? But I look back and I go, wow, I remember just going, we can't tell anyone really what we're doing. And then the next thing, we had cameras in our faces and the whole world saw what we do for a living. Yeah. And so like our whole world was opened up. And like you had touched on, Victoria, this is trippy from me, Amanda, because I tell people like I don't want to say lost, but let's just say for 2 decades, I don't know anything else outside of the mansion.
Oh my God.
That's why I'm so ingrained and I know about the mansion, because I lived it for 21 years. Wow. It's weird, like meeting up with friends after the fact, like, wow, I don't work at the mansion anymore. And then they'll start talking about stuff in like 2005 or 2006 or 2010, whatever, bringing up movies, bringing up television shows, bringing up bands. And I'll just be sitting there. What are you guys talking about? like lost.
So it consumed everything for you, right? It was all
It was
He
nonstop.
was
I
just
mean, we
living
had,
there. I mean, he never,
yeah,
he literally, I swear to God, every time I was there, Brian was there. And it didn't matter if it was in the morning, at night, off, not a party, movie night, whatever.
wow.
You were just always there,
it
Brian.
was nonstop. It was crazy.
So you were always there. You were like the main man there, obviously. Like you, just the show is just like one little glance into
That's a
your
blur.
life. So
Well, that's
it's
why that's fun with this podcast that we can
yeah.
actually open it up. I mean, I was blessed, and we've talked about this about why I know how to do these things is because I had radio background and I got to do a show for going on 8 years on Playboy Radio, which was
Oh,
Mansion
wow.
Mayhem, which was the background of the shit you didn't get to see on Girls Next Door. So we gave a bigger world of telling people, hey, this is what also happened, talking about the boss and how he helps out all these charities and
Wow.
it just delving deeper. But enough about freaking us, Amanda. We want to get into you. I mean,
Oh my God, that's so sweet. And I'm a huge fan of both of you guys. So just know, like, literally, we need to hang out sometime because I live in Malibu and I
absolutely.
know you're out here too. So yeah, it's crazy. And especially with my music, it's so inspired by Playboy, and being a part of Playboy has changed my life so much, especially when they first reposted me. It was very surreal. I keep saying surreal, but it was just like in another world, like just having grown up watching these things and then just being given like, hey, like, yeah, we want you to be a bunny. It was just so crazy to me.
Tell us about your music, though. Tell us, because I've heard your music. It's really good. I was
Oh, thank you.
not that like, oh, I'm so shocked because I didn't think that you'd be any good, but I was like, wow, this is really good. I mean, it was really it's very well produced. It sounds great. Tell us how you got into the music, and obviously you said Playboy inspired you, but tell us about your music and
Oh my
about your
God.
album that's coming out.
I will tell you about my album's coming out. Great. So essentially, as I mentioned, I'm originally from Washington, D.C. I moved here with literally nothing when I was 18 to go to USC for business entertainment. I studied the entire time for the 4 years, like worked so hard to get both degrees in business and cinematic arts. And the whole time I was performing at my residency at the Viper Room. I was performing at clubs all around LA. I was on my own MTV show. I was on my own Snapchat series, my own Facebook Watch show, because I had this huge following from Instagram and Snapchat originally. Now it's obviously trickled out to YouTube and Threads and TikTok and everything else because I'm a full-time content creator. Essentially, how it even got started was when I was 18 and I first got to USC, I met one of my best friends now, who's my main music producer of everything I do, Charlie Johnstone, and he's the best. He has a family who's in the industry. His dad is Elton John's guitarist. So he's has a very big ear for music, and he's obviously a really talented music producer who works with some of the top names in the industry. And we met just by chance because one of my close friends was like, hey, you should meet this guy. He's really cool. I think you'd like him. Next thing you know, I'm doing my first show ever with my first 18-track deluxe studio album on my 21st at the Dime in Melrose. And it just sold out in like minutes. Like I just opened my Instagram and everything was sold out. So
wow.
It just really, it was wow. It was like so crazy. I was so just awestruck that people care that much about what I do. So I was just like, let's keep it going. So then essentially I started working on more singles, more albums. My next EP, Ashkenazi, because I'm Ashkenazi Jewish, so it's kind of like a little play on words. All these little like things I did that were fun and sexy and cool. And then the Grammys came knocking. They're like, we'd love to induct you as a member of the Recording Academy as a voting member. I was like, I would love that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like, hell yeah, let's do it. All right. So then literally, I get inducted to the Recording Academy. I'm like, okay, like what can I do next? What can I do next? So I actually wrote a song for Playboy called Centerfold, and they've used that on their social media, which is so cool.
Wow.
And from there, I did more and more singles, more and more work. I'm actually working on 2 different albums with other artists as well. I also write for other artists too. But that's how this new sophomore deluxe studio album of mine, It's Westworld, came about. I had a song on my first album called It's Westworld, and it just kind of went crazy. So it just went viral. So people were like, you need to make a whole album of It's Westworld. So I've been working on this album for the last year, and it's been costing me a brick. It's been costing me a lot of time, money, energy, but it's been worth it. And I'm 2 songs away from finishing the album. We just shot the album cover literally this Monday with Anna Azarov, who's a huge photographer out here. It was incredible. Just like putting the whole album together, getting all the visuals, and then Now we are planning for the music. I always do one music video for every project, like for the best song, like whether it's a single, whether it's an album. So I just shot the Pour It Up music video at Beverly Hills Hotel. That's out now on my YouTube for everyone to watch. But the new music video is going to be for Top Secret, one of the best songs off the album. And we're shooting it this fall. So it's just very, very exciting and very, just honestly so fulfilling to do all this.
You have to give us a couple bars. Can you sing a couple? Can you do a little, like a little rap
What do you
for
want
us?
from the new album? Do you want? Of course I can.
Whatever you want. Maybe the Playboy song or something that would be fun for the audience.
I'll do. You want me to do a little verse from one of my first songs, actually, like my OG like 90s type rap? People don't know that I came with the game, but dope I'm trying to, they feeling the same. The hot like the summer be dropping like rain. Dope with you bitches, it's hard to explain. First they didn't like me, now all in my face. Heard you like pussy, so brought you with taste. Kisses them white, they look down, that's cold, but people don't know this for leaving myself. But that's just an example of rap.
Dang, look at you.
I do it all. So you guys will have to go to amandaromewest.com. I have everything there. Rather than listing all my socials, my Playboy, everything, you could just see everything on my website, Amanda Rome West. And especially subscribe to my YouTube channel, Amanda Rome West. I post videos every week and I post shorts every day and all my music's on there. And then obviously all socials, Amanda Rome West official on Instagram and TikTok, and Amanda Rome West everywhere. So I feel really lucky that I have so many great people around me, especially my fiance. He was one of the first people to tell me like, Playboy's looking for new bunnies, like you should be a bunny. And I was just like, I don't even know how I could do that. Like literally, obviously I have the self-confidence, I have the body for it, but I was just like, I don't know. Because, you know, you grow up with like Playboy being on such a pedestal, right? So I was like, me? But then when I really just embraced who I am and like had self-love and like self-confidence for being a bunny, it just became more of my identity and more of my life. And now I'm a silver tier bunny on their website, with whatever that means. I mean, I just have a lot of fans on there, which is really cool. And especially since I run my own full service media and production company, Watchlight Entertainment, with my fiance, Jordan, it is really incredible because I'm able to hire photographers and do photo shoots all around LA. I'm able to promote myself. I'm able to have clients who really see what I'm doing. And it's really just a blessing to be able to do this because back in the day, you know, when I had my reality series and stuff, people are like, how are you going to make a living out of this? Like, this is just like a one, you know what I mean? Like a 15 minutes of fame type situation. I'm just like, well, I'm a brand. I'm not just like a little blip in time. Like I am literally constantly evolving. Like look at people like Pamela Anderson, for example, or even Victoria right here. You know, you use Playboy as part of your identity, but you're also an artist. You're also a brand. You're also a person.
It's definitely a launch board. Yeah.
Yeah, that gets lost on some people.
I'm also wondering, maybe Amanda, you can play some of your music. Maybe we come back and you can play some of the music. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We are Bunnies Mayhem.
The Rogue Bunnies have had some pretty epic in real life events that I'm sure you've all heard about. Wondering how you can be included in our next one? Become a VIP NFT holder. The main benefit of being a VIP is access to our events. You'll also have priority access to future drops, gated chat channels with the Rogue Bunnies, VIP-only online events, and more. Want more details? Visit roguebunnies.com. Then follow the bunny mask and get ready to go rogue.
Welcome to the metaverse.
I'm Irina Voronina, Miss January 2001, and you're listening to Rogue Bunnies Mayhem.
All right, we're back. Rogue Bunnies Mayhem. You know, Amanda, I thought the rap was kick-ass, but I think our audience needs to really hear some of your music. Let's give a little tidbit here. This is Pour It Up.
Go crazy, popping lock, swing it back, do a 180. Lil shady, gotta try twerking, reverse it like baby, speed it up and slow it down on the pole, lady, drop a 50, drop 100, take it off, faded. Pour it up, diamonds if the sun is on, get in the
That was fucking awesome, girl. That was sick. And everyone needs to check out also YouTube at Amanda Rome West. Amanda Rome, like in Italy, West, as in Kanye West, right? It's really easy. All together. Yeah, go to YouTube, check out the video. It's friggin' awesome. And we're so happy for you. I get inspired when I hear from other persons that were inspired from the world that we got to live in and see that like, wow, that's when we made you want to do this. And now you're pushing out your stuff and you're doing it. And then it all comes back like full circle. And here we are. Yeah. And I'm excited to see what you're going to do with Rogue Bunnies.
Oh my God. No, I literally can't wait to be part of this community. Like, I'm really blessed to know Victoria, know you, Brian, and everyone on the team. Please do add me into all of your community events. I'd love to participate, especially like Discord and in real life, obviously. It's really, really lucky that you guys got to have this experience in life. And for example, me, seeing all of that and internalizing it, and like you said, creating my own masterpieces of art out of it. I wonder, like, when I have kids, like, will my daughter be in, friends with the next people, and then they're friends with the next people? And it's very cool to see the legacy living on, because what Hugh Hefner built is this incredible world where it's almost like Disneyland, right? It's like the last part of the world that's untouched, and it's like your own creation. He's almost like a Walt Disney of sorts. I'm a Disney adult, if you guys didn't know. So I'm just very like, I love people who create their own little world. And like, for me, it's Westworld, my album. Like, I'm getting children now because that's my own little world. Like, that when you hear this album, it's basically talking about my entire life distilled into 11 songs. It's really cool these days what you can do as an artist, me releasing everywhere, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, everything. And the fact that, hey, go to amandaromewest.com, and these people can see everything, my IMDb, my social media, my exclusives, my podcast. And I remember, especially, this goes back to your show, Girls Next Door, you guys will like go on the big computer boxes and you'd be like, we got to get on this live stream. Like, Kendra would be doing that. She'd be like, I got to put on my lingerie. And it'd be like taking like 20 minutes just to even boot up the computer. Like, that's how it was. And now it's like, boom, click, you're in. Yeah. And I would say that Girls Next Door did give me the confidence, and Playboy and the whole brand gave me the confidence as a young kid to be like, I'm going to make my own channel. I'm going to make my own videos. And that was before a lot of people did it back in like 2010, 2011. It just feels very serendipitous that I'm with Playboy, and it's very like in canon for my brand, I guess you could say. And yeah, if you guys watch the Centerfold music video, it's like so Playboy coded. It's like so many references, and it's cool to speak to people who get all the references because it's your world. You're the OGs. And I guess if I can ask you a question, how did Playboy change your life forever? Each of you, Brian and Victoria.
Definitely for me, it changed the entire trajectory of my life because of Hef and the licensing contract that he gave me for fine art. I was able to launch an art career and have a global art career, which I don't think I would have been able to accomplish in the amount of time that I did, or at all. So for me, knowing Hugh Hefner and being affiliated with Playboy led me to meet all the people that I know and that I hold dear to my heart. The most important people in my life are all from the Playboy inner circle of Hef and family and Brian. And so for me, it changed everything. I honestly, I'll often wonder what I would have done with my life had I might have been just a starving artist. I mean, I don't know. I certainly wouldn't have, I would have done everything different. I can't even imagine where my life would be. So it definitely changed my life. And I had always wanted to be part of Playboy from a very young age. I thought Hugh Hefner was Howard Hughes, the richest man in the world. So at 9 years old, I thought I need to work for this man because he's the richest. That was my thought. And so I had always had it in my head. I want to be an artist and I want to be a Playboy bunny with Hugh Hefner so that I could just have a fun life. I just thought he looked like he was so much fun, and roller skating and all the things that he did. So I was very intrigued by him the moment I saw him. He was always on the news on TV when I was younger. He was always on the news in the 70s and the 80s. So for me, that was my introduction to him. And I just related to him really early on, as weird as that sounds, but it's interesting that it turned out the way that it did.
How did you meet him? How did you originally meet him? Because I don't think I ever got that story on my podcast, ARW Raw.
Oh, well, I met him the first time he was still married to Kimberly, and my issue was out, and it was New Year's Eve, and it was the first party I was invited to. And I was, I showed up to the New Year's Eve in my gown and with my date, and I met him briefly in the Great Hall as he was coming down the stairs and walking into the party. I was able to say hello to him, but that was my first introduction. But I wasn't able to, because he was still married and there wasn't a lot of going up to the mansion for people at that time. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't until I would say 1998 and 1999 when he opened up the mansion and started having, movie nights, inviting other people to movie nights. That's when I was able to meet him and get to know him. He was just so kind and so sweet and so approachable and so and had a vulnerability about him that I wasn't expecting. So, you would think that he would just be like, but he wasn't like that at all, ever, with anybody. So it was interesting to meet him for the first time. And Brian, tell us how you met Hef for the first time.
I was so blessed to be able to be part of a world that to me was like a fantasy. It'd be like saying for those that got to work for Elvis back in the day and actually like lived at Graceland. And that's kind of what I felt I got to be part of. But it also changed my understanding of what the Playboy world really was. And it was family. And I know we talk about that a lot, but that's what still touches me and why I'm still so connected. That's what I got out of it. I know it was fun to share the world through a television show. And, you know, I got to do the radio show and we did all that fun stuff. But it really made me really see people for who they are deep inside, not so much this outer exteriors. And I just, it really was cool. It's really touched me and I'm blessed. I mean, I'm still close with the boys. I mean, I think that's one of the greatest gifts ever. I mean, I got to watch those kids grow up. So,
Yeah.
But again, you know, for you, Amanda, I think it's cool to hear that you say, you know, you were inspired and, you know, and we had touched on like, you used to watch the Girls Next Door show and look at you, you're doing your music and, you know, you're just shooting it. You're going for it. You're shooting your dream, you know, and you're like going, hey, I'm going to freaking do this. And it's inspiring for me. And I know for Victoria, it's like for all of us that we keep pushing on a dream and we're trying to inspire other people. Like, go do it. Go try it. I mean, what have you got to lose? Right.
I am living the dream, modeling for Playboy, being a musician and rapper. I think what's next for me in terms of like the pipeline of 5 years is I definitely am so excited because Jordan and I are getting married in summer 2026 in Cabo.
Hey, look at that. Congrats.
Thank you. We've been together, which is crazy since I was 20 and he was 25. We met on Hinge when I was at USC. And he was the only one of one of the only people who actually saw what I was doing because I was just surrounded by all these fan type people. And he was like, I respect you. I want to see your inner workings, how you do all this. And how we first met was on one of my first music videos. So how cool, how romantic. So we're getting married in 2026. That's up in the next 5 years. I definitely want to be a mom. Like Victoria inspires me so much being like a sexy, fun mom. It's so cool. Okay. And then also continuing my music career, my modeling and content creation and using my company, Watchlight Entertainment. And you guys can go to watchlightentertainment.com if you want to see a bit more about what we do, what services we offer for marketing and media and production. And, you know, being able to basically harness that in a professional sense with my degrees from USC and also be doing the fun stuff. Like if the message of Playboy is leaves you with anything, it should be that you can be professional and sexy and that it can come together because there's all these other magazines, right? I'm not going to list all the other names, but there's other magazines and other content creation sites where it's just, it doesn't carry the weight and the iconicness of Playboy. And Playboy is and always has been such a great brand. And what I want to say about what Brian said that I forgot to say was, I really wish I could have met Hef. I really wish I could have met him because he seems so incredible. And everyone always has something to say about people once they're gone. And I don't think that's right. And I think people should be remembering someone for their legacy and for what they did for the world, especially in terms of women's rights and in terms of art.
So again, everyone needs to go to YouTube.
Just go to youtube.com or download the app, make an account and type in Amanda Rome West and subscribe to my main channel because I post all sorts of things from vlogs to makeup tutorials, story times, my full music videos, my music, everything.
Bravo. I think you did. I think you got it all out there, man.
I know. I'm just like, I got to get it in. You guys have such a short show, but I'd love to come to all the Rogue Bunny events. Please, Victoria, add me into any chats or anything I need to know. And I'll be there because we're out here in Malibu.
Awesome.
Amanda Rome West, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Guys.
We are Rogue Bunnies Mayhem, and the Mayhem continues.